Hello viewers, in the last video of excretory system we have discussed about the structure of this nephron, and today I'm going to tell you a few more terms related to this diagram, and then we'll continue with the third part of the video. Okay, here this is one nephron, and you have to remember this part. This part is basically the Bowman capsule and the glomerulus, this knot like structure. They together are called Malpighian capsule. These two together are called Malpighian capsule. So if suppose an exam they ask you to draw the Malpighian capsule, so out of whole diagram you will be drawing only this part of the figure. And today we are going to discuss about this part of the figure only, how this particular cell functions. So let us start. So today's first topic is this, that is ultrafiltration, and this comes under the topic function of kidney, production of urine. So production of urine has got three main steps: ultrafiltration, reabsorption and tubular secretion. In ultrafiltration, now you know this particular structure, as I told you, is said to be Malpighian capsule. So if they ask you to draw Malpighian capsule, so you are supposed to draw only this part of the figure, that is from the nephron. Now what is there in this part? Now you know, I'll just show you this figure again. You know, the blood from the renal artery, it here becomes efferent arteriole, and then under high pressure the important and unimportant things are being taken up by this cup shaped structure, which is called Bowman capsule. Now this process of filtering of the liquid under a very high pressure is said to be ultrafiltration. And here when ultrafiltration occur, what will happen? Your important and unimportant things will go in this part, and the blood which is going to come here under this efferent arteriole, this will become thicker because few components from the blood has been removed, right? From this particular liquid has been removed, and the fluid which comes here, this is said to be glomerular filtrate. And what all things are there in glomerular filtrate? It is urea, water, salt, glucose and other things. And yes, also it contains two kind of cells. There could be two kind of cells also out of three cells. So the two cells could be RBCs and WBCs, right? So not in this part, the things that comes here in this particular part, right? So in efferent arteriole we have here in this part the two types of cells would be left out, that is mainly RBCs and WBCs. Proteins and some large molecule would be taken up in this part. So here in this part the blood will become thicker, as I already told you. Now in this particular diagram the efferent arteriole is shown here. You just have to be very careful with the size of the efferent and efferent. Efferent is smaller, it has got narrow size compared to efferent, right? And here this blue arrow shows the direction of glomerular filtrate. What all things are there in glomerular filtrate, you can underline. It consists of urea, water, salt, glucose and other plasma solute. Here in this part it will go into the other part of the nephron. Now as I told you, because some important things have come into the glomerular filtrate, so it has to be sent back to the blood so that the consistency of the blood is maintained. So now which all things would be given back to the blood? Not blood exactly, capillaries which are present. So a lot of useful, including glucose and sodium ions and sometimes proteins, they are passed out. Normally proteins are not passed out because they are quite big molecule, but you never know, sometimes this happens, right? It's a condition when this happens, it's a kind of a disease you can say. So now what will happen? Reabsorption will take place. Reabsorption means giving something important back to the blood again. Means from this filtrate something important would be given back to the blood again, and that process is said to be reabsorption. And because the reabsorption is very selective, because not all the things would be given back to the blood, only the selective things, especially glucose and sodium. That is why said to be selective absorption. Now after that is third last criteria for the production of urine is tubular secretion. So here basically if suppose a person is having any medicine or whatever kind of thing, medicine, basically medicine, right? Like here it is given penicillin. So in the urine formation, what will happen in DCT? In DCT, basically these things would be there, because when you take medicine, what happens in medicine? The medicine part, the important part is being taken up, affects the particular target organ, and then whatever waste is there in the medicine, that is being thrown out from the urine. So that waste is basically from the drugs left. For example, they have given penicillin, it would be there in the urine formation when it will reach the distal convoluted tubule. Now where is distal convoluted tubule? Already, it is here, DCT, right? Now whatever filtrate would be left after reabsorption and tubular secretion, whatever would be now left out, so that would be urine, and it will mainly consist of urea, water and salt, right? So first step is ultrafiltration, that is under high pressure. The important and unimportant things from the efferent arteriole, with the help of glomerulus, it goes into the Bowman capsule, and then the important things are being again taken up by the blood vessels, that is said to be reabsorption. And if in case we have drugs or potassium ions present, excess potassium ions, so again this would be given out of the body, not body, basically from the DCT, and it would be a part of urine formation, right? And now this box is very, very important. Do make sure that you do this. Steps involved means what is happening in glomerulus, what is happening in Bowman capsule, what is happening in PCT, loop of Henle and DCT. So you have to remember what all activities are involved in all these parts of the nephron. Very, very important. Yes. Now next is maturation, is the formation of, basically not formation, it is excreting of urine basically from the body when there is an urgency to go to the loo, right? And yes, after this we do have the characteristics of urine, from which one of the questions was asked, that is the color. Color is yellow because they can ask you because of the which pigment. It was asked in MCQ, so you will say it is due to urochrome, right? In this particular chapter you read about bilirubin also, so make sure you remember that also. Now next, this particular things you can do, that it is acidic, and protein diet makes things, that is urine, more acidic, and vegetable makes it alkaline. Odor is ammonia like smell, and you don't have to do all much, but this part, that is the why this is yellow in color, the name of the pigment is very important. Now after that you can just read this part. The most important part is the abnormal constituent in urine. Like if suppose the blood passes through the urine, it is called hematuria. So this you have to remember the name, because they can ask you. If glucose is there, it is called glycosuria, which is also basically due to diabetes this happens. So the condition is said to be glycosuria. And the third condition is when, as I told you, usually protein, it doesn't go out in the urine, but still if it goes out, we say it is called albuminuria. Albuminuria, that is the condition when protein content is there in the urine. And yes, in bile, we say due to anemia or hepatitis or liver cirrhosis, urine might contain bile pigment, right? Now next is regulation of urine output. So that is being done by pituitary gland, right? And there are some like you can say drinks which increase the urine production. For example, tea or coffee could be there, right? So that is said to be diuresis. Increased production of urine is said to be diuresis. And yes, there is one hormone that controls the urine production, that is ADH, anti-diuretic hormone, that is released by pituitary gland, right? Very, very important. So the you can say liquids that increases the urine production, that is said to be diuretics. So tea, coffee, alcohol, these are diuretics, right? And the increased production is said to be diuresis. Now next, there could be a possibility that because of the excess uric acid in our body, it crystallizes, means it becomes like a stone, and that is said to be gout. And gout, the crystals will deposit in the joint, so there would be a lot of pain in the joint. And also, if uric acid along with calcium salt they combine, it might lead to the formation of kidney stone. You must have heard about kidney stone, so do this box very very carefully. Yes, after that we have got next topic, that is osmoregulation. So now here I told you why does the reabsorption take place, because the normal consistency of the blood has to be maintained, right? So this urine production is according to the consistency of the blood, like which all things are to be sent back and how much it has to be sent back, so that the normal pressure or normal concentration of the blood remains same. That is said to be osmoregulation, right? Very very important. And yes, you have to remember one more thing here from this paragraph. They can ask you why in summers we urinate fewer times compared to winter, because in summers usually what happens, we do perspire. So under perspiration, the lot of uric acid and urea, it goes through our perspiration, not that much as compared to your kidney, but yes, some amount. And also the half of the water is lost because of the perspiration. That is why the production of urine is less. In winters, we don't perspire much, so most of the water which would be going out, or most of the waste, that is urea and uric acid, that would be going out of the body, would be only because of the urine, right? And next is cholera patients. In cholera, what happens here, because of the disease, there could be reabsorption of water, and sometimes what happen, urea also get absorbed, and this condition is said to be uremia, and it can lead to death. So uremia is basically when during a particular disease or condition, urea is also absorbed. See, urea cannot be absorbed by our body because it is a waste, it has to be thrown out by kidney. But when a person is having cholera, the kidney gets affected, and instead of absorbing water is being absorbed, but it absorbs urea as well, right? So this becomes a very dangerous situation for a person, right? And the last part is artificial kidney. So when what happens, if both the kidney fails, the person will not survive. So if suppose one kidney fails and one is okay, so one kidney can perform all the function of urine production, although there would be a lot of stress on that particular kidney, but yes, the person can survive. But if suppose both the kidneys fail, so the person won't be able to survive. So for that, what is being done until there is a transplantation, until then there is a machine called dialysis machine. It is going to perform the function of urine production. Not, it is, the person will not urinate, of course. So the person will be on machine till there is a transplantation, and all the urea and uric acid is separated by this machine. So it's a very long procedure, and the person is attached with total 3 or 4 pipes depending on. So you can see here, this is the particular machine, the dialysis machine, and the diagram is not given in your book. I have taken it from some other book just to show you here. So here the blood would be taken by this machine from the artery, and then ultimately with the help of the concentration maintenance, the the blood which is free from urea and uric acid is being given into the person's body through the machine, and it goes into veins. So the first one would be deeper. This would be deeper in, we know, because arteries deeply situated in our body. So yes, the syringe here would be more deeper, and here it would be above. And yes, the third, why I'm saying third, because of course the person would be on blood, because it cannot be that whole of the blood is taken and it is given immediately. So of course the person is given blood as well along with this particular. So it's a very painful and a very long procedure, and person might not survive for many years. So that is why transplantation here is important. So what all things you would be doing it from this chapter? Remember the human urinary system that you know already, the structure of Bowman capsule. Bowman capsule along with the glomerulus, which is called Malpighian capsule. Remember that. Usually they will not ask you to draw the diagram for nephron, but still you cannot challenge board, right? So do that as well. It's not very complicated. It's quite easy, right? And let me show you how you can make it. It's easy, not so very difficult. So if suppose here we are, I'm drawing the rough structure of nephron, so just the outline. So you'll draw a C here, and then you will draw a small line. This is inverted C, the mirror image of C basically. Then you will draw two loops, right, which is PCT. Then you will draw a long hairpin kind of structure, which is called loop of Henle. And then after that again you will draw the same kind of structure like this here, which is basically your PCT, not PCT, sorry, DCT. DCT is distal convoluted tubule, and then after that we'll have the collecting duct. It's like this. This is nephron, and then you have the glomerulus. Make sure you draw this to be thicker and this to be thinner, and then ultimately you can just show, the lines and everything. I'm not saying do it because this question would be in choice. You can do it or you can skip it, but yes, make sure you do this part which is given especially in your book.